You're listening to the New York Said Podcast.
Fear not, my friends. This will be my greatest performance.
Give it to me.
Here we go. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Hey, what's up, man?
Peace. How's everything?
Good. How's everything on your end?
All's well. No complaints. I'm very excited to have this conversation.
Cool.
I just wanted to get the origin story of DJ DOGGTIME. To me, you've always been a staple.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I can remember, like collecting mixtapes. And, I think we grew up in the same hood. People like my homeboy Chill Will, he was like, you know him, you've seen him. And I'm like, I only know the tape show. We all went to Edison, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you kind of paved the way for us, but I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you've done and all that you've contributed, because you have been an example, of like a standard of like excellence in a sense, because your tapes, you can see the integrity in them.
Much appreciated, man. Much appreciated.
Around what year did you get started? At what point did you, I don't know why I'm so nervous, but I never thought I'd actually talk to you, because you're very, very hard to find. You know what I'm saying? Like, it took me almost a year to like get your attention.
As far as getting started, my homeboy Sean Parker, around the corner from me where I grew up, he was DJing back from like 6th grade.
Okay.
So I was always around him. He had equipment in his basement, but I didn't start until high school. And maybe even like junior year, going to park jams and stuff like that, seeing JT, Grandmaster Vic, Amazin, Dewitt, and them dudes.
Is that in 40 Projects or is that Baisley?
Yeah, 40 Projects in Baisley Park.
Okay.
Both. More so going to Baisley than 40 because it was closer.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys, Grandmaster Vic, JT, and Amazin Dewitt, they was the ones that, want to see in the park. You mimic what's going on. As far as being serious, it was actually the Christmas recess of my senior year. So that would be like Christmas '87. I don't know if you know Vern McCallum, who went to Edison. I borrowed his equipment.
What was the equipment at the time?
Maybe like SB1s or something like that. I don't even remember, man. I think that was the standard.
I mean, that's huge to let somebody borrow your equipment, because that's a lot. That's turntables, that's mixes, that's crates. Okay.
Yes, and crates, yep. So Vern let me hold his stuff. I think it was cold, it was snowing, so I was in the basement just trying to mix like that whole time. So by the time the end of January came, I was actually pretty decent because I was in there hours every day.
Nonstop.
Yeah. And, you start making little tapes for your homeboys and stuff. Well, you make tapes for yourself, and then they hear it, so then they want tapes around the way, and then it just starts to slowly spread. You start bringing them to school and things like that.
So when do you think you made your first tape? Was that like 89?
My first tape would have been like January of 88.
And were you doing blends on that tape?
It was mostly blends because I could never cut that good.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that. So at what point did you get your own equipment?
You know what? He let me hold his stuff, but then piece by piece, I had to buy my own tape deck. And then you see somebody else with a different mixer, so you buy a mixer. I think the summer of 88 is when he wanted his stuff back. But I already had a decent stash of records by then. And I think I had to just buy the turntables. So I bought like some entry-level turntables.
Did you work like different odd jobs to save up kind of thing, like JFK or anything?
In Edison, I pretty much just did a little side work with my pops as an electrician. So by the time we graduated, I was working at an electric supply house. It was a place called Sunset of Queens on Parsons.
Nice.
Up the hill from Hillcrest.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked there after high school, and that's where I got the money to buy my equipment. I was working there. I forgot about that.
Who was it that laid it all out for you that was like, yo, it's a possibility for you to kind of turn this into a viable business?
You know what? It just happened, man. People always say that, but literally step by step. You're making tapes for your boys for free, and then they boys want stuff, so now it becomes like $3 and $5.
Right.
And it slowly started spreading. But more so, I would say like 89, 90, it started to pick up because one of the Cuddy's Barbershop on Parsons right by Hillcrest, I used to go there with other dudes to get haircuts, and I guess they had heard my tapes, and they wound up selling them. Them and it was Hot Watts at the time.
Hot Watts was over by Mr. Lee's, because I remember you had to flip through the book or what have you and, pick out your mixtapes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because we used to walk the hill, get off at 165th and just walk the hill, or, holla at Abraham or Mustafa, or even get tapes down in the Coliseum with Shirt Kings in them. I'm sure you've had like one of your mixtapes just like dominate the Ave.
Yeah.
Like you walking down the Ave and everybody's just hearing one of your blends.
Yes.
Do you remember what tape that was that really made an impact where you was like, yo, I think this is really cracking?
Everything happened pretty quick. My name started getting out there, but I wasn't selling a lot of tapes per se.
Okay.
I know one time I went to the Coliseum in one of the sneaker spots.
Yep.
Oh, I skipped a big part. I went to Farmingdale right after Edison.
What'd you study?
Business administration.
Okay.
One of my homeboys from Edison, he introduced me to Grandmaster Vic. So I would go to Vic's house like once a month and get a tape. So I would literally study Vic tapes.
Okay.
So I say that to say this. I guess sometime in maybe 89 or so, probably 89 or 90, I was in the Coliseum, and I'm in the sneaker store, and a guy is playing my tape. And I'm like, yo, that's my joint y'all playing. So he was trying to tell me it was Vic.
Wow.
And I'm like, yo, that's mine. I'm telling you, I made the tape. So he's telling me, no, it's Vic. And I said, you know what? I studied Vic so long, I guess I sound like Vic. And I took it as a compliment.
Right.
At that point, I'm like, wait a minute. If they think I'm Vic, I must really sound pretty decent.
Yeah. Because there's a real art to the blend thing, yo. Like, people don't understand. Like, they feel like I could take an acapella and a beat, and I'm like, nah, it's not that. It's the actual acapella that you marry to the track. There's a specific style and an art to it. It's just not, okay, the beats line up. You know, like, you got it right. You know, Mr. Rello and J-Dell got it right, and Harry got it right. And I was talking to Harry once, and he told me that, like, in his early days, you helped him DJ his first party. Like, it felt like everybody was helping everybody to make it happen. I'm sure it was competitive, but it was still like, yo, I got this, you need that. Was it really like that?
Absolutely. It was always all love between all the DJs I met. You know, sharing records, sharing ideas, you know, whatever the case. Buddha Barber, Ike Love, Harry, Rello, Clue, D-Life.
Yeah.
Everybody, man. It was always all love. Cutmaster C.
Yeah, I would always collaborate. Like, one of my favorite tapes is that Clue and Ike Love with that, you know, lay your head on my pillow, opening blend. And what was it? The Bandwagon remix. Yeah. And it just, the way it married, it said, because I remember exactly where I was. It was like wintertime, and I know I had a trip the next day. One of my people's, they stayed between Foch and 115. And so, like, we were like, you know, a group of us, like all my boys, we were just listening to this tape. And I remember it had like the Beavis and Butthead sample. We started cracking up. But then the beat dropped, and I just remember, like, how just important it was to just roll out what your very first blend was. Yeah. This is one of yours.
I used to be in love with this guy named Sam. I don't know why, cause he...
And the way you did it.
Wow.
It had that echo chamber. It had that TDK hiss in it still. You know what I'm saying? Like, all those things that just kind of like bring back these memories of a better time.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I heard Blend Factory, I said, you know what? This is the end of an era. Because I was like, it sounds like DOGGTIME took everything, like all the illest acapellas, all the illest breaks, all the illest instrumentals, and was like, yo, I'm out. Like, I'm leaving at the top of my game. This is it. And then at the end of it, you did these credits, and I was like, who the hell does credits?
Yes,
And shout outs and thank yous at the end of the tape. And I was like, oh, this is it. You know what I'm saying? And I just refresh your memory. You said, I want to thank Sean Parker for showing me how to mix.
Yep.
And then you were like, I want to thank Buddha Barber for pulling my coat. And you know, that's an old school, like, pulling my coat. That's a Iceberg Slim. You know, if anybody has ever read Pimp, he's like, oh, thank Buddha Barber for pulling my coat to the mixtape game, and Clue on the business advice. And then you said a name I haven't heard in years, which is DJ Douse. He used to come to the barbershop. You said he helped you rock the clubs. Yeah. When I first started doing the clubs every week, he showed me how to, you know, it's different than doing a party and doing a club every week. So he showed me how to rock clubs like that. What's the difference?
It's different because you go do a party and it's like a one-shot deal. But when you do a club, it's every week. You have your one or two routines, but they got to still be new at the same time. It's a different way you rock when you there every week, as opposed to you doing like a one-time event. Completely different.
How did you know to get onto CDs before everybody else?
Actually, one of my homeboys in Virginia was selling my tapes. He the one that pushed me to do it. E.T., he had a store called Flavor for You in Virginia. Yeah.
How did like distribution work back in the days? Like, did you go and just like take your CD or tape to every single spot? Or would you like take it to a spot and then they would just do all the copying and then distribute it to all the spots?
You would have your local spots around the city that you would, physically go back and forth to. Some bought a master tape, they'll run off their own copies, so you put a price on the master, or someone just bought the copies from you, and y'all would have whatever the split was. Out of the $10, you split it. And the same with the CDs, you sell the CDs for wholesale. But anything out of state, you had your mailing list, you just send it out COD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did anything that you had learned in Farmingdale gave you like some business acumen to the way you were approaching the mixtape game?
A little bit of the marketing and things like that, just understanding basic principles, understanding your profit margin and things like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Is that when you began to introduce your logo?
I got my logo. Actually, Dows had a nice logo. The guy that did his logo wound up doing my logo.
In it, I remember there being a clock and a dog coming through it.
The dog was buzzing through the clock, yeah.
And what was the science behind like dog time?
Oddly enough, in Edison, everybody called me E-Dog. So that was my thing, E-Dog. So we was playing basketball one time in the back. So, everybody talking trash, whatever the case. So whenever I did something, I would say, man, it's my time, it's my time. And they started saying, uh-oh, it's dog time, it's dog time. And that's literally it.
How did you know to pivot to the next thing? Like, how did you know, like, okay, it's a wrap for me with the mixtapes?
Basically, I wasn't enjoying it as much. I don't know if it was the music itself or God calling me away from it or I don't know. And then it was like the game had got kind of watered down with a lot of other DJs and the prices started coming down. And it was just a lot at the same time. I wasn't enjoying the music. Your profit margin is way down because everything is being sold a lot lower. I was working. I'm an electrician, so by that time I was making top pay.
Okay.
It was more so I can just work overtime and cover the money. And as far as DJing, I'm going to miss it. But you know what? It's pretty much done. I'm not enjoying the music anymore. All through my DJing, I always just liked the music, first and foremost.
Yeah.
So by the time it got to the early 2000s, it was like, I could take it or leave it.
And now, with COVID and all that, I see that you've been doing these really cool blends and mixes and just kind of giving back. It looks like you enjoying it again, like you just zoning out with it. It ain't about business. It's just about giving the people something to escape from.
Yeah, it was literally that. People started hitting me up like, yo, you need to go live. It's the perfect time. Everybody's down. It'd be good to see you come out right now for, dealing with the situation, shelter in place. I had it, mind you, I had it in DJ since like 2004.
Wow.
So, I always had my turntables and stuff, so I had to get like the Serato and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? If I still have my skills, I'll do it. If not, I'm not going to embarrass myself. And once I got going, I was like, man, I missed this. It's pretty cool. I still have my skills, I think I went live about five or six times. Yeah. It was cool.
I think music plays a large part in life. I mean, all through 2020, Blend Factory was on repeat. And the cool thing for me was like, I could play it around my mom and my sister, and I didn't have to like cringe if there was some kind of profanity or something crazy. Yeah. And then the really cool thing was just like, let me see, Blend Factory. This is how Blend Factory starts. So you start out with the barge, and you hear your sister singing along, and you hear your mom singing along, and it just like creates this.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Family harmony time, where it's just kind of like
you can enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's been consistent throughout your work, throughout all your tapes. It's just. It's just a vibe, and you could tell that's definitely dog time. I remember going to the Av once, and I was like, of course, just get my mixtapes or what have you. And then I heard Dirty Harry. I was like, somebody really took things to a whole new level with like sound effects and several layers. Like, what was your take the first time you heard one of his tapes?
Oh, I was blown away, but I heard Juice before Harry.
Oh, Juice was out before Harry? Okay.
Yes, as far as I know.
Okay.
So I liked Juice once I heard him, but once I heard Harry, I'm like, this dude is on some other stuff.
Right.
I mean, completely. I mean, he put some time in, and I love his whole presentation. I love it, man.
Can you talk about like the things that you've learned back then and how they even impacted you today? Because, you know, life is about change, and you've seemed to have worn several hats. Some of them have been very consistent, but you're still you. It seems like even when I watch the clips on Facebook, when you don't deliver a sermon, the energy is still the same. That integrity is still the same.
You know what's funny? Like you just said, you know, I'm still me. I tell you a story, and it's funny. You know JT, right?
I don't think I know JT. From back in the days, he used to do the freestyles on Vic tapes. That JT?
No, he was he's a DJ.
Oh no, I don't know JT.
That's JT. I don't know if you saw, because he posted a video when I was in the park. It's like 1991.
Mm-hmm.
I was the first DJ to get on, and then like he was on that too. But he's one of the legendary park DJs.
Got you.
So I can remember we went to it was a park jam. I think it was somewhere in Long Island. I really can't recall exactly where it was, but I think I was with him, maybe Dewitt, and there was somebody else, I think, from Long Island. So, you know, we all in the park, and, you know, we doing our thing, whatever the case. So when I got on, you know, you as a DJ in the park, you got to do 1 or 2 scratches, you know, whatever, you know.
Right.
And I guess I didn't look too comfortable doing it. So he was like, yo, dog. He said, you don't got to do that. He said, you here to just do you. If you want to blend, just blend. Just do you.
Right.
And then I started blending, and everybody was like, oh, that's kind of hot right there. And it's funny because ever since then, I will always say, you know what? I got to do what I'm called to do.
Mm-hmm.
I got to do what I'm comfortable doing. And if it's just one person that's going to like it, then I'm just here for that one person. If it's going to be 100, whatever it is,
wow.
I'm just going to be comfortable doing me. And that's it. So I pretty much apply that, you know, coaching football, you know, doing work in the church and working in the community. Of course, my son, whatever it is like, you know, I just got to be me. Because once you're comfortable being yourself, you can put all of yourself into whatever you're doing.
Absolutely.
And that was always it. Even with the blends, you know, the CDs and with the mixtapes, it was like, I'm not trying to battle Clue or battle this guy. I'm just going to do my blends. I'm just going to do my thing. And then your audience will find you. And it's like, you just rock out like that.
That's funny. And it's probably a weird pivot, but like I was watching Cobra Kai earlier. There's a part where he's like, yo, I know you're trying to get everybody to your dojo, but like, it ain't for everybody. And the people that want to be, the people that need to be in your dojo will show up. And then like slowly.
That's it.
And then, you know, I work as a creative. So like sometimes I kind of put way too much pressure on myself where it's like, oh, this thing has to do this and it has to do this and it has to open this door and the podcast. And then, you know, when I talk to DOGGTIME, then maybe I could, you know, and then all of a sudden you're just like, yo, all you really need to do is just do your due diligence. You know, be on time, say what you do what you say you're going to do, and that's it. You really don't keep a good sense of humor. You know, don't forget to laugh, and, you know, like, just be nice to people. Yeah. But sometimes, man, like, you just, you know, even in like early in when I was mad nervous, I was nervous for what? You know what I mean? Like, you're my cousin that I never met. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure we walked past each other in Gertz before. So it's like,
absolutely,
you know, it's crazy how life changes.
Yeah.
Out of all the living you've done, you know, working as an electrician, the work you do in the church and the community, the mixtape game, of course, like, what has been the most important lesson you've learned so far?
Aside from being yourself, helping others.
Helping others. Even with the music, it became like, you know what the crazy thing, I used to have my, I had a Mazda 626, and I had DOGGTIME on a license plate. I used to get stopped. Cats was like, yo, I was in jail. Yo, your tapes kept my head clear. And I was like, my music, you know, it had that kind of impact. Yes.
And it seemed like, you know, the music was kind of almost like a therapy to a lot of the listeners. And then, of course, I coached football for 8 years. So I'm working with 11 and 12-year-olds. So now those guys are 28, 29.
Mm-hmm. So
you see the impact you had on their lives. And then, you know, doing work, you know, last year with doing community work and working in the church over the last 10, 15 years, even as a worker, you come together for a common cause. And if I'm the foreman, you bring everybody up, like, yo, we're going to do it this way. We're going to be professional. We're going to be top notch. So it's be yourself and help others, man, and enjoy life.
Yeah. I really just wanted to say thank you. You know, thank you for your time. Thank you for, you know, reminiscing with me for a second, entertaining the thought of having this conversation and doing this interview. you have any last words or shout outs or anything that you have coming up? You know, because this is going to come out in the next couple of weeks or so.
No, just I'm happy that you was interested in hearing, you know, a little bit of my story. I was, you know, of course, happy to share the story. I grew up 2 blocks from American Tower, so I'm right there.
See what I'm saying? That's just crazy to me. And Chill Will was like, yo, you've seen this dude. You know, like,
yeah, right on 116.
Did you ever used to get your hair cut in one of the barbershops, or did you go to like? Because I know Mike, you know, in the Yellow House, he ended up opening like fades on Gabru or what have you, across from Rochdale.
I used to go to Fades, yeah.
And Kev, you know, Kev was the one, Big Kev. He was the one that pulled me in. Like I was just looking like a super wild hood kid walking around, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna need you to like come to the shop and come sweep up the hair, and we'll work out getting you some paper because you looking crazy right now." So Kev is the reason why. You know, Kev and June and Mike and all those guys, and even Al. I don't know if you remember Al back in the days.
Al, Tim, all those dudes.
Tim and
all those dudes,
Kendu and all of them. So like, they were all my big brothers, but they were also like these real examples of like, yo, this is what dope music sounds like. This is how you defend yourself. Yeah. Okay. We don't need to be drunk in the street, but if you're gonna have a, you know, some old English, have it back here. It was like they were my very first experience to just what it means to be a stand-up individual and taking that into adulthood. And so there was a soundtrack to that, and your work was a soundtrack amongst others. And I also want to give a shout out to like DJ Preem and Anna Live and the, you know, Rockaway Twins, because they're still keeping it alive.
Yes.
I was listening.
Goldfingers,
yes, absolutely Goldfingers. And so like every now and again, Preem would do a WBLS, you know, holiday blend, and
holiday joint,
and he just kills it. I'm like, yo, and every now and again I'll see him at the library, not, you know, pre-COVID or whatever, but you know, I just try to let him know like, yo, keep doing it, yo, because as a creative, like even though you get those shots, you can still be like, I wish this would happen, or I wish that would happen, or, you know, I'm just kind of like, yo, Preem, I see you, man.
No doubt.
Keep doing it, you know what I mean? And then I keep it brief because you don't want to just come off as a sicko, because it's not like we kick it like that, but I still want to be able to just say something positive, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
But I ain't gonna eat up too much more of your time. Thank you very much, and
it's a pleasure, man. It's a
talk to you soon.
All right, man. Be good.
All right, brother. Peace.
All right, peace.